CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
From my family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12 live at 5.
Well, coughing, sneezing, and runny noses are taking over the South right before the holidays. Just ahead, we're taking a look at the numbers and what you can do to keep you and your loved ones safe and healthy.
But first, we're expecting some dangerously cold temperatures tonight, dipping below freezing and into the 20s. Our first alert, Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale is here. And Riley, just how cold is it going to get overnight?
Guys, it could actually be some of the coldest temperatures we have seen all year long, even taking a look back to this past January and February. Tonight, we're going with a forecast low of 21 degrees at Bushfield. And if we hit 21, that would tie the coldest temperature of 2023 reported at the airport. So the last time we got to 21 was January 15th earlier this year, and then we were down to 22 just the day after that. So that's the last time we have seen temperatures quite this cold. So not only December cold, but some of the coldest temperatures we have seen all year long for us. Here's a look at our coldest temperatures recorded at Bushfield so far this year. So we've hit the mid and low 20s only about 5 to 6 times so far this year. And actually the last time we got down 25 or lower was March 15th, believe it or not. So actually we had some pretty cold days there in March earlier into the spring. Here's our low temps tonight. So Bushfield 21. I would imagine Danielfield does stay a good bit warmer, upper 20s there around the city environment, but you can see away from the city, most spots will be down between 21, 22 degrees. Unless you're going further south, the southern CS where you likely stay in the mid 20s. Cold nonetheless. Definitely make sure you're protecting your outdoor pets tonight. Have them wait for them to stay warm. Protect your sensitive outdoor vegetation, plants, anything like that. And if you are going to be using a space heater, never plug that into an extension cord. The electrical current will just kind of overload that extension cord. Very easy way for fires to start. Dress in layers. We've heard that one before. Protect your pets, plants, and also a good time of year to check those carbon monoxide devices as well. Have a look at the rest of the forecast for you in just a bit. Let's get a quick update on your first alert traffic.
And now, first alert traffic.
All right, here's a look at I-20 where we have seen a good bit of a slowdown this afternoon. They did close down the right lane on the eastbound side earlier today, but over the last hour they have opened that back up. So hopefully traffic is improving. You can see definitely pretty busy there going from Georgia into South Carolina. Grovetown next, another busy spot this time of day. Lewiston Road, exit 190. You can see the traffic backing up to the interstate there from the exit. But other than that, no major traffic issues to mention at the moment there in Columbia County. Have an update on how long this cold air sticks around in just about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Riley. After historic flooding and more than a foot of rain hit the South Carolina coast, we're learning more about just how busy Sunday was for first responders. The city of Charleston is reporting more than 130 calls in 24 hours. Those calls include at least 40 requests for rescue. At least one person died after being trapped in a submerged vehicle. The city saw its 4th highest tide on record at nearly 10 feet. And despite heavy wind and rain in the Myrtle Beach region, officials say new measures helped protect the dunes from erosion. Earlier this year, the dunes were renourished, which means extra sand was added. Myrtle Beach also added 10 miles of sand fencing to prevent that sand from eroding. Now that the waters have settled, reports say the dunes and beaches held up well. The Army Corps of Engineers plan to renourish more dunes in 2024.
The third and final suspect has been sentenced in a murder dubbed the Tinder slaying.
The 3 people are accused of luring 24-year-old Alan Johnson to his death by leading him to North Charleston through the dating app last year.
Melissa Rademacher was there in court as Johnson's family finally saw justice for their son.
I just can't understand how people can sit here and sit around a table to plot to harm someone.
Alan Johnson's mother says today justice is served. 3 people are behind bars for luring her son to the area for a Tinder date with plans to rob him. That turned into his murder.
I'm just glad today that these people are off the streets and everything.
Earlier this year, the Tinder date and gunman pleaded guilty to murder. They are serving 30 and 38 years, respectively. Today, the third suspect, Zora Henderson, entered a plea for armed robbery and conspiracy, and a judge sentenced her to 20 years.
I hope by the time they're in there, by the time they have in there, they change their life, change their way of thinking, and just be able to dwell on what they've done.
Henderson provided information to convict the 2 other suspects of murder, so prosecutors dropped the murder charges against Henderson. Still, the state and Johnson's family say that her role directly led to the death of an innocent man. During the investigation, Henderson admitted that the trio had planned robberies by luring a date from out of town before.
Due to the fact that these individuals was doing this prior before to other people, it just happened for our son to be taken away from us for them to get caught. So today justice was served.
The Johnson family says this is justice not just for their son, but for everyone who may have been a victim of prior robberies.
Johnson's family have founded a college scholarship in his honor and say that their next steps are focusing on awarding it for the first time in 2024.
A harrowing rescue out of Dallas, Georgia today after a man is trapped for several hours at a rock quarry. This is in Paulding County on the west side of Atlanta. For hours, crews worked to save the man who was in a hopper this morning when the equipment gave way and he fell 20 feet into a hole. He was covered in debris up to his chest. After several hours, he was freed and then life-flighted to the hospital. No word yet on his condition, but before the rescue crews were able to put him in that chopper, they say he was conscious and alert.
Well, Tybee Island is preparing for chaos, also known as Orange Crush. Now, the dates were just announced for 2024, putting many on edge months before it's set to even happen. Orange Crush is a massive spring break event where tens of thousands of teens and young adults flood the island, partying and enjoying their time off. Last year was one of the largest in the island's history. The city says an estimated 40 to 50,000 people visited the 3 Mile Island in just one day. Now, the crowds brought a spike in violent crime, tons of trash left behind, and the city left to pay for outside support. For 2024, they're hoping things will be different. The city's new mayor says they're working with the event organizers to bring more structure to that event.
If you plan far enough in advance, it is possible.
It will always be a public beach. We cannot forbid people from coming on our beach.
Tybee Island leaders say that they're also petitioning to take control of the road onto the island so they can limit the amount of people going in if it gets bad.
A Georgia man who went into cardiac arrest earlier this year is now learning how to save somebody else's life in case of an emergency. David Beck says he is lucky to be alive after he collapsed while playing tennis. His friend was trained in CPR and knew how to use an AED, which saved his life.
And then they came over and assessed and said, wait a minute, this is a little bit different. And luckily, like I said, 2 of the people had done CPR several times. So, I thank God that they were there. I really do.
Now Beck is learning how to teach others CPR. He says it's something we should all learn if we're able. CPR classes only take 2 hours and certification lasts for 2 years.
In just a few days, millions of Americans will begin to travel for the Christmas holiday. Just ahead, we'll take a closer look at what South Carolina is doing to keep you safe on the road. Riley?
And the coldest temperatures of 2023 possible tonight into early Wednesday morning. Have a look at the forecast just after the break.
Time and Temp, brought to you by
All right, welcome back. A live look from our Beach Island camera showing clear skies and a very cold day today. We actually stayed in the 40s for high temperatures this afternoon. And get ready tonight, folks. We are expecting temperatures to be as low as near 20 degrees by daybreak tomorrow morning. We're down to 46 so far as we get just about 20 minutes away from sunset here. Winds are calming down, skies are clear, air extremely dry. So we got the 3 good ingredients to really see these temperatures drop off tonight. And we're going to start seeing these temperatures most likely get below freezing as soon as 9 9, 10 o'clock later this evening. So we're going to see probably most likely an 8 to 10 hour stretch of temperatures below that 32-degree mark. And you can see we'll eventually get down to near 20 by daybreak tomorrow morning. So frigid stuff. Make sure you are protecting your outdoor pets and make sure they have a way to stay warm the rest of tonight. Here's a look at those low temperatures across the area. So that 21 for Augusta, that's out in Bushfield. We know Bushfield's one of those colder spots. Daniel Field, interior Augusta, those places could stay a good bit warmer in the upper 20s. But if you live away from the city, it's a good bet you'll most likely be in the mid and low 20s by daybreak tomorrow. We are going to see those cold temps stick around Thursday, most likely mid 20s instead of low 20s, and then we're getting back above freezing as we roll into the weekend. Saturday, Sunday morning should be waking up close to 40, so above freezing, but still a little bit chilly if you're going to be up early both days this weekend. High pressure is building in on top of us, so this is what's bringing us clear skies, calm winds tonight, so ideal radiational cooling, and you can really see that sunshine across the southeast. We're looking at Augusta, Aiken, Charlotte, North Carolina. Then we actually have Blacksburg, Virginia in here. They were seeing some snow last night, so we pulled in that camera, but they have since lost all that snow that they saw last night. Very dry air in place. You may have noticed this. You definitely need the chapstick, the lotion over the next couple of days. This air will definitely dry you out very quickly if you're going to be outside in it. Here's our day planner for tomorrow. So waking up near 20 right around daybreak. We'll see mostly sunny skies the first part of the day, but we will see partly cloudy conditions build in later into the afternoon. Despite a few clouds, we should be able to see high temps close to 50 out there tomorrow afternoon. So just a couple degrees warmer, not by much. Well below average still for this time of year, at least 10 degrees below average for us. And most spots should at least hit 50, but maybe a spot or two does get a degree or two warmer than that. We won't be on a warming trend as we head into the weekend, so we're kind of at the bottom of the roller coaster right now. We'll actually see highs in the mid-60s Saturday and Sunday. Beautiful weekend on the forecast right now. We're not expecting much rain the rest of the week. Unfortunately, the rain chances do move back in for Christmas Day next Monday. Of course, the timing of these. We are looking at a beautiful Christmas Eve, though. Few clouds start to move in Sunday, and then could see some rain as early as Sunday night. But really, during the day, Monday and Tuesday is a better opportunity to see a few raindrops.
All right, thanks, Raleigh. The holiday season is upon us, and so is the sick season. Respiratory illnesses like COVID, RSV, and the flu are making the rounds right now.
They sure are. According to the CDC, South Carolina is seeing some of the highest rates in the entire country. And Georgia, well, Georgia's not far behind. Taylor Martin is live at 5. And Taylor, despite the state-level cases being high, a local infectious disease expert at the Medical College of Georgia says there's some good news before Christmas.
Yes, and the good news is locally cases are trending downward for the month of December right before everyone heads home for the holiday. October and November were critical months for RSV in Richmond County. In November, about 20% of those tested for RSV were positive, meaning about 1 in 5 people tested positive. This month, the number has dropped by half. Now only 10% of tests are coming back positive, and I spoke with Dr. Roger MacArthur with MCG, who says hospitalizations are down too.
1 in 10 in December tested positive among those that actually got tested. Whether this keeps up, going down, we don't know yet.
We're hearing from a mom who is now trying to raise awareness about RSV and how you can prevent it after having a scare of her own with her baby.
All right, thanks, Taylor, for keeping us updated on that. And the number of deaths on South Carolina roads in 2023 has dropped to its lowest in several years, but there are still 2 weeks left in the year and another busy holiday travel period coming up.
As Mary Green explains, law enforcement is now kicking off a new but familiar campaign to keep South Carolinians safe.
More than 30 years ago, South Carolina debuted a safety campaign called Highways or Dieways. Now that message is back on billboards like this one across the state. The return of this campaign comes as South Carolina roads are the safest they've been in years. State leaders attribute the drop in deaths to driver education, engineering of safer roads, and greater enforcement of traffic rules. That enforcement will pick up this week as South Carolina Highway Patrol begins its Sober or Slammer operation to target impaired driving over the holiday travel period. That'll mean more law enforcement on the roads and DUI checkpoints. Troopers remind drivers that collisions and death are oftentimes preventable.
They are preventable when people make a choice to not wear a seatbelt, or they make a choice to drink and drive, or they make a choice to speed excessively, or taking their eyes off the road to text or scroll on their cell phone.
As South Carolina drivers know, there's a lot of road work underway throughout the state. The Department of Transportation says it'll restrict the number of lane closures during the busiest parts of the holiday travel period. But there will still be road work happening on shoulders and just outside the travel lane. So DOT says drivers still need to be careful. Reporting Columbia, I'm Mary Green.
South Carolinians will see that highways or dieways sign message not just on billboards, but also on video boards on the interstate and soon in PSAs on TV and social media.
This year, one police officer's life changed forever after responding to a call. Just ahead, we're hearing how his recovery is going and how he's choosing to look on the bright side of things.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
It got to the
Wednesday through Sunday and located at 646 East Buena Vista Avenue in North Augusta.
Just a few months ago, a Maryland police officer lost his legs when a reckless driver allegedly ran him over on purpose.
But this holiday season, he says he's just happy to be alive and hopes to return to the job. Amy Cho has his story.
Ready?
Hold on. There we go. There we go. Perfect.
Being a first responder means putting your life on the line to protect others. And though Sergeant Patrick Kep has been through so much, he says he's just grateful his injuries weren't even worse.
You have to be happy to be here, right? Like, I'm lucky. I really appreciate everybody who's, reached out and, thanked me.
Back in October, Sergeant Kep was technically on break, but had joined his colleagues to try to stop a reckless teen driver. Rafael Mayorga is accused of speeding 110 miles an hour down I-270. He allegedly ran over Sergeant Kep on purpose, causing him to lose both his legs.
I remember every single bit of the entire day, entire night, but I just remember, looking down and seeing that something was wrong with my right leg. I touched it with my hand and saw blood, and I had some choice words for myself that I won't repeat. In those situations, you have to stay calm. It does no good to, scream on the radio.
Whiskey 10, I got hit. I need fire rescue. I'm at Watkins Mill.
After he managed to call for help, Sergeant Kep was rushed to the Shock Trauma Center in Baltimore. He spent 7 weeks there and needed over a dozen surgeries. His colleagues giving him a hero's welcome when he finally left the hospital 2 weeks ago. Sergeant Kep is now doing physical therapy at Walter Reed and will eventually get prosthetics. His goal is to come back on the job and also return to his favorite hobby, refereeing college football.
Coming out of surgery, I mouthed just the words football after looking down at my legs. So it's, that kind of stuff that I want to get back to. Just, difficulty knowing that old normal is not new normal.
And though he still has a long journey ahead, he says he's grateful for all the kind words.
She goes, "You're the police officer, aren't you?" I said, "I am." And she said, "Thank you." And that's just it's a very, touching kind of thing to see here that, people still are out there and care.
An outpouring of support for a sergeant who sacrificed so much.
And it's just amazing to hear how calm he was during that 911 call after being in that accident. It's incredible.
I can't even, that is the part that I can't get out of my head is how he just, it sounds like, hey, I dropped something.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And then, of course, I fully believe he's going to be back refereeing. Somebody with that attitude and 100% he'll be back refereeing.
It's amazing, and they never know what they're going to experience on the job, and of course we thank him for his service there. It's heartbreaking to watch, but it's great to see that he could probably get back to where he wants to be as well.
What an incredible human, though. Wow.
It's awesome.
Absolutely, guys. Positive attitude definitely goes a long way. We are going to see some very cold temperatures over the next couple of days, especially if you're heading up to the lake, likely staying in the 40s for highs up there again tomorrow afternoon. Now look at that 7-day forecast just after the break.
Attention homeowners
And associates.
Yeah, it's real.
Get spotted with an SRP Spotted sticker and get $100. That's right, it's that easy. Get your SRP Spotted sticker or magnet from any SRP location and you could be spotted and win $100. Follow us on Facebook for even more chances to win with Spot Me SRP. Good things are happening at SRP.
Hundreds of sea turtles off the coast of Cape Cod experiencing something called cold stunning.
Now, this is where ocean temps change dramatically and the turtles can suffer from hypothermia. Now, due to rehab centers in Massachusetts being at capacity, 5 sea turtles in need of medical care were just flown to South Carolina's Low Country.
Now they're receiving care at the South Carolina Aquarium. They've been named Guerre, Monterey Jack, Picorno, and Romano, and Fontina. So all after some cheeses.
We're all trying to accomplish the bigger goal of sea turtle rescue, rehab, and release. So being able to help out other organizations is wonderful, and to see everybody come together is just incredible.
The South Carolina Aquarium says it's proud to be able to take these turtles in, especially since the loggerhead turtle is the state reptile of South Carolina.
They do great work there.
They absolutely
take great care of them, so that's pretty cool to see. I didn't know that they could get hypothermia just from the changes in the water, too.
Yeah,
Water
cold
temp.
stun.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is cold here, too.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we would all be stunned in the water right now.
Yeah, and I remember a couple years ago we had the big cold outbreak across the southeast, and it kind of stunned a lot of turtles in the Gulf of Mexico and just off the East Coast. So luckily, we do have those people out there to help save those turtles and give them some good rehab. Hey, we got clear skies out there tonight, pretty cold temperatures as well. But since we saw a lot of sun today, there is going to create a little bit of a divide between our temperatures overnight. So in the city environment, we'll likely stay warmer than areas away from the city. So we call this the urban heat-on effect. So this is why your weather app may be showing low temperatures a little bit higher than what we're showing in our 7-day forecast, because we're forecasting for Bushfield. So one of those cold spots will likely be down near 20 early tomorrow morning, and then those high temperatures stay below average through at least Friday.
All right, thanks, Riley. Thanks, guys. Stick with us. We have much more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break.
On air and online, News 12.